Hello. Um, so something that I see often, just in like comments and commentary about law of attraction stuff is like I was almost ready to give up on these principles, or I'm ready to give up on LOA. I see that a lot. Um, and given the state of things that we've discussed recently on social media, that's like, I understand that sentiment, but at the same time, and I think people, when they comment on this stuff, they often already understand this. If they've gone deep already, they already understand this. There's no need to give up on any of this stuff, okay? What I think really people mean when they say they're going to give up is that they're going to explore other avenues. If they're at all serious with their intentions about applying manifesting and law of attraction principles. Because manifesting and law of attraction principles are also basically, at least the majority of them, just, practical spiritual principles and practical self-improvement principles to transform your life for the better. That's all they really are. At least, again, the majority of them. So when people say that they're going to give up, or I was just about ready to give up on this stuff, either they just are unfamiliar with LOA, which, don't get me wrong, overall that is the case. Most people, they think LOA still is the secret in the stuff that they usually see on YouTube. They don't understand the deeper things that we're talking about here. And I say deeper, I just mean the more significant teachings that we're talking about here. The principles expounded by these great New Thought teachers and people like Emile Coué. So when they say they're giving up on something stupid like The Secret, and The Secret has some good stuff, don't get me wrong, but whatever. Giving up on superficial LOA makes sense, but giving up on your life doesn't make any sense, So I mean, as far as I'm concerned, if you want to like stop utilizing any LOA principles, that's a good approach for a lot of people. Like, you can forget all the manifesting stuff and all these esoteric techniques and all of that, and just apply sound self-improvement advice, and you're basically doing the same thing. It's really not that different. And I would argue, even if you are just applying seemingly straightforward self-improvement advice, that there's this gigantic mental component to it, and that the mental component, if you're fooling yourself if you think the mental component is not the biggest part of applying principles to transform your life. Let's put it that way. We were discussing action last week. Obviously, I think action is important, and you're going to be taking action no matter what. It's impossible to do nothing in reality. How much action you want to take and how much action you should take, I think are very subjective depending on the individual. I think for the large majority of us, we're going to be taking significant action in our life, and that we're not just going to be, visualizing something we really want at night and that's it, and take very little outward action in regards to it the rest of the day. I don't usually think that's the case, and some people are different. But usually I do think you're living your life, and you're taking action, and you're doing what you can to get to your desired goal. And if that sounds exactly like self-improvement, that's because that's pretty much what it is. And again, that's why I like psycho-cybernetics and Maxwell Maltz so much, because he fuses like goal setting and, seeing your desire in your mind's eye and being relaxed about it, and then going to get it. He fuses that like traditional self-improvement with this visualization and relaxed actualization of what you want. He fuses those two things really well. But the mental component just can't be denied, the significance of it. And when we underplay the significance of the mental component, it tends to just slow us down in terms of getting what we want. So with that in mind, I thought I would read more from Joseph Murphy's classic book, relatively short book, How to Attract Money. I read a passage from that last week. Just a few paragraphs later, in this book, in the chapter called "Your Right to Be Rich." He says this, and this just references how important mentality is when we're talking about law of attraction or self-improvement, or even just a practical application of spirituality. But as far as I'm concerned, we can leave spirituality, the deep stuff out of it, and just talk about practically transforming your life. And Murphy here is going to tell you how you can do that. He writes, "You must cease denying, or excuse me, we must cease denying our good. Realize that the only thing that keeps us from the riches that lie all around us is our mental attitude, or the way we look at God, life, and the world in general. Know, believe, and act on the positive assumption that there is no reason why you cannot have, be, and do whatever you wish to accomplish through the great laws of God. Your knowledge of how your mind works is your savior and redeemer. Thought and feeling are your destiny. You possess everything by right of consciousness. The consciousness of health produces health. The consciousness of wealth produces wealth. The world seems to deny or oppose what you pray for. Your senses sometimes mock and laugh at you. If you say to your friend you are opening up a new business for yourself, he may proceed to give you all the reasons why you are bound to fail. If you are susceptible to his hypnotic spell, he may instill fear of failure in your mind. As you become aware of the spiritual power, which is one and indivisible, in response to your thought, you will reject the darkness and ignorance of the world and know that you possess all the equipment, power, and knowledge to succeed." Great couple of paragraphs. And Murphy there is using very spiritual sounding language, just like Neville often does. Very spiritual sounding language. But my argument, which is the argument I always make, is that this is practical spirituality. This is the same kind of spirituality that other people would just call plain old, self-improvement. And the law of attraction a lot of time is just transforming your mentality so it's more aligned with what you want. And then it will come into your life. Or a better way to look at it, if you don't want to look at it so passively, is you'll go get it. Right? But you won't go get it just through hard action and effort, because that alone does not get you what you want. It's the consciousness that is going to propel you to get what you want. And, there's just this obvious crossover between practically improving yourself, improving how you look at things, improving your conscious behavior, and, getting your life in better shape, feeling transformed in a positive way. This is just exactly what we always need to talk about, and why I just ram it home again and again, because I know that a lot of YouTube channels like to get overly esoteric, and there's really no need to. We can talk about practical spirituality and connect it with self-improvement. And it should do something for us in our lives. There's no need to say that we're going to quit, because you can't quit even if you want to. Just like you can't not take action even if you want to. Life is for living.